All right. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I would like to welcome you all to the regular commission meeting. It is September the 11th. It is 7:07. Call the roll, please.
Mayor James.
Here.
Vice Mayor Harris.
Here.
Commissioner Brandemart.
Here.
Commissioner Grace.
Here.
Commissioner Salvino.
Here.
City Manager Baldwin.
Here.
City Attorney Ansbro.
Here.
Thank you.
Can you please bow your heads for a moment of silence in honor of 9/11 and the heroes and the victims who lost their lives? Thank you. Can you please stand for the pledge? All right. We don't have any citizens comments? Do I have any? Oh, okay. Okay. Since we don't have any citizens' comments, before the public safety reports, I would like to fast forward to Commissioner Grace's logo item.
Thank you so much, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. As you know, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we have two of the commissioners up here that are breast cancer survivors. We have an opportunity to have something a little different. Normally, in the atrium every year in October, I have a breast cancer awareness event. But this year, we're going to think outside of the box, which we've been doing a lot of that in the city of Dania Beach recently. But if you haven't not had an opportunity to look at the flyer and the handouts, it's going to be Sunday, October 7th, 4 p.m. to 9, and there's going to be a K1 speed. So I'm going to ask Craig, will you please come up and where'd he go? Explain to us, and then we can pass these out after we approve the logo to go on this? Okay.
Pass it down.
How you doing, everybody? My name is Craig Valentine, 1982 Tiger Tail Boulevard. I'm part of Gangrels Wrestling Asylum. I'm one of the owners. I made a promise to the City Commission that I would do a breast cancer benefit. So we want to do something different than just get everybody in a wrestling ring. So we came up with an event with K1. It's the Speedway right on Sterling Road, right by our facility. So we got a lot of famous wrestlers. The list is growing and growing. Quarter Deck is one of our sponsors. Live Fits is one of our sponsors. We're having pink shirts made, tank tops, bands. Dr. Susan Nelson is setting everything up. So K1 was nice enough to give us the facility. So every person who races a wrestler, if they win, they get one of the donated prizes, but a portion of all the money from the races goes to the Breast Cancer Research Foundation, since they spend 90% of their money on actual research. And basically whatever we sell in our shirts and bands and whatever the wrestlers autograph, you know, we'll assemble in our own check. We'll do same thing, make it out to the same company. Breast Cancer Research Foundation presented to the Dania City Commission, so you guys can present it to the charity. But since we are Dania residents, and the school's here in Dania, and we support our city, we just request that the logo is on there, since I know most or all of the commission is going to be taking part in the event as well.
The reason I had to wait because we have to make sure that everything is correct. So I had to check with the city manager, check with the city attorney to make sure that this was something that we wanted to do, and it is something that we're going to do, because in the past in the city of Dania Beach, we've had Relief for Life for Dania Beach, and we've raised pretty close to $400,000. That has not happened in the city of Dania Beach for the last 3 or 4 years. The event that I do here at City Hall generates maybe $2,000–3,000, and I can see us doing a lot more. And what I'm really interested in is, you talked about the research, because there are a lot of people that cannot afford the treatments. They can't afford the shots that they have to have, the chemo. And so I want to try to keep it in Dania Beach, because the Dania Beach residents will definitely benefit from this, working in conjunction with a Memorial Hospital, who have all of those different programs, even to the, how to do your makeup, where, your scarves when your hair fall out, the wigs, getting to the right programs to make sure that you have the medication. If you have to have home care at the time that you're having radiation and chemo, and also transportation backwards and forth to your treatment. So all of this is a win-win situation for us. So that's why I wanted to bring it to the commission tonight, so that we can move forward with this. I think it's going to be a great event, and I just put my new sticker on my car today. It says, "Be strong, fight cancer." And I think that's what we all going to have to do. We're going to have to fight this together to eradicate it.
Yeah, correct. And I want nothing from the city, just the logo on there that shows that the city's in support. You know, the city's got no liabilities, but we're doing it. Actually, somebody wants to run a string from across the street and stake it in the ground over K1 just to say that it's part of the city of Dania temporarily.
I'm just going to ask, just as I always do, since the logo is going on there, that it be approved to make sure it fits in the guidelines of the branding policies.
Okay. So
You can email it to our CRA executive director, who's taking the charge on the rebranding. So anything that gets our logo on it has to go through, because you just have to make sure it has it fits the right policy.
okay. So, yeah, it'd be in place of our logo on the bottom, since our
No, no,
logo's on there
no.
twice.
No.
Oh,
It doesn't have to be in place of it. It's in addition. You're going to add the logo to this, correct?
yes.
Okay, you can still have yours.
Oh, no, we don't want to take the credit for it, even if we're on there already. It's presented by Gangrels Wrestling Asylum on the top. We just
All
put our
he's
logo on
asking
the
you to
bottom
do
as
is
a
add
temporary
yours
holder
to it,
so I
and
could
that's fine.
start promoting flyers.
Yes, we are.
No, we approve whether or not it can be on there, but the rebranding, it has to be done in a specific way. You remember the rebranding packet that we got with the rules on how to use the logo? Are you familiar with
We
it?
have final say. So let's vote whether we want him to use it or not.
No,
have
we already,
final say.
no, okay. Again, that's not the issue at hand. The
Well, what's
issue
he going to change on your logo?
is not about changing anything on the logo, Commissioner Grace. It's about placement
Commissioner
and
Grace.
I'm
look
sorry,
like you now.
Commissioner Brandon Marty.
She is
It's
my
about
sister.
placement.
That's right.
It's about placement and making sure that that the logo is being used correctly. It's all in the packet that you received when we
Yeah.
did our rebranding. Commissioner Savino.
I just want to make a comment. I know that with the Relay for Life, I participated a lot in that, and I will participate in this because it's a lot easier than walking. I can drive.
And we're going to use this with See It, Live It.
Whatever you send me
Okay.
is just going to replace ours on the bottom, and
Okay.
then we're going to put the posters all over
Be
the city
great.
of Dania and Hollywood.
love
I
it.
certainly want to thank you, because
You're very
it's a lot of
active.
work for me, and it's not that I'm complaining, because I had such beautiful women helping me do this every year, including the women from the Estates of Fort Lauderdale, the Dania Beach Men and Women's Club, the Women's Club, the seniors, and the Northwest Bird Point women. We did a fantastic job working together, but this is going to be that we can sit down and enjoy ourselves and be recognized for being so courageous that we're still here after the brief years that I've had to fight breast cancer.
Commissioner Brandon Marty.
Yeah, you have a challenge. You have to beat Bobby's amount of money. That's your challenge.
Actually,
not gonna be able to
we
beat it.
set our goal for $10,000. We're hoping to do better.
Bobby.
Mine, the first year that I was chairperson was 185, not dollars.
185,000?
Uh-huh.
Hey,
But
it's our first year.
we'll take whatever you give us.
Yes, yeah.
So,
Thank you.
That was working with
Thank
Lisa Duke.
hey. Well, for the Christmas thing, I'm hoping to fill 2 24-footers this year instead of just a 15. But so what's my next step? Should I?
We'll email you. We'll
Yeah.
email you the logo.
We're going to
and-
approve it now, and
Yes,
then
it's
you
already-
know that you
yeah.
can do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a consensus, right? I don't
Yes.
think
Yes.
anyone has an issue
Yes.
with it. So we'll email you
City manager, city attorney, are we good?
a motion to approve.
Make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Great.
Thank you.
Pass these out to people.
All right. Thank you, everybody. It's
Thank
a short
you.
one for me. I have to get back to the school.
Pass these
Public
out
safety
to
reports,
everybody out
Chief?
there, okay?
Just pass them to
And
me.
ask them if they want to give them to other people.
Put the others
We
on the
had no
table.
citizens? Wow. We must be doing something right.
evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners.
Good evening.
Our crime trends continue to be burglaries to unlock vehicles. What these burglars are doing is going door to door, looking for unlocked vehicles. Some of them they're finding with keys in them, and they're just taking the cars. So I say it at least once a month, please lock your vehicles, don't leave your keys or weapons in the vehicle. That's happening citywide, and it's also happening countywide. Early this morning, we arrested a suspect off of Southwest 20th Terrace when he was observed checking door handles. Our midnight shift deputy set up a perimeter and caught him. The other day, deputies were conducting surveillance at C.W. Thomas Park when they observed an adult suspect provide juveniles with marijuana. The suspect was placed under arrest and charged with possession of marijuana, possession of drug paraphernalia, and contributing to the delinquency of a child. The other night, deputies responded to the Hyatt Place in reference to a strong odor of marijuana. At the door, housekeeping opened the door. There was nobody inside, but there were 3 suitcases filled with marijuana. One of our sergeants was inside the office when 2 subjects walked in, and they just so happened to be the occupants of that room looking for a key. So we walked them back up to the room, and they confessed. It ended up being 95 pounds of marijuana, and we confiscated over $13,000 in cash. DADS, which is the Dedicated Achievement Demonstrates Success, Take Your Child to School Day, is on September 26th. I know I'd spoken with the Vice Mayor about this, at 7 a.m. at Collins Elementary. The dates and times have changed a couple times.
When is it?
I have September 26th at 7 a.m. at Collins Elementary.
I plan on taking Marco, and that's National Squirrel Day too, so I'll be able to do 2 things at the same time.
Did you say Squirrel Day?
That's because she thinks I'm nuts.
So
I
September,
think it's taken the place of it, or
so September
I'll
25th
find
at
out more.
7?
I just saw the flyer for that, yes.
At 7 a.m.?
7 a.m.
Lord, jeez. Well, Ms. Grace, you won't be there.
I know. My heart will be with you guys, yeah, definitely.
And then just another reminder, October 31st from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. is the annual Fall Festival and National Night Out Against Crime over at C.W. Thomas Park.
Yeah.
That completes my report.
I have a question. Is there just more so increased or decreasing on what's going on at the Motel 6? Because I drive by there and I always see your cars there.
We respond to a lot of calls there.
Yeah, it's still a high call volume
Yes.
area. Did we ever do something about, what did we decide?
Yes,
Because I know we brought this up before. Yeah, the nuisance abatement
We
board. but-
passed a different ordinance to help him out, and we're doing, help us out, actually. And we are sending letters to high incident places, which is this one, and another one on State Road 84. We've just gotten, had a number of arrests at the motel. So we're adding that, and we're going to try to meet with the people, tell them if you don't do what you need to do, we begin the process of stiff fines before the magistrate.
But what about the board? We don't need the board for this? Okay, so we don't need the board. Okay, all right, thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Chief.
That was an ordinance that we just passed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Come on down, Mr. Holness. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you?
How are you?
Good, good. Nothing really to report. I kind of gave Chief Brown a little break. He's catching up on paperwork. But I did want to point out that as we deploy people out to
That's what I was gonna
North
ask.
Carolina, you know, that just brings to mind that this is like the peak season. This is it now. And if you take a look, if you see the satellite imagery of the Atlantic Basin,
Very active.
all you see is clouds. So just keep everybody aware that, you know, this is still the peak time, and, you know, don't let their guard down. On another note, a lot of chatter over the last couple weeks on the flu season coming up. Based on the type of flu vaccine that's going out there and is available for folks, I encourage them. I even, a person who is not a big fan of taking flu shots, I will probably get it, only for the fact that the strains, the Singapore strain is coming back. And if everybody remembers, it's a H3N2 version, so it's mutating faster every year. So just be very cautious. Beyond the flu vaccine, it's just every day when you touch something, keep a little bottle of sanitizer with you. Repeatedly, if you don't have access to clean water and soap and vigorously washing, make sure we're doing that on every occasion that we can.
Up here like doing this now.
So just remember how you touch things. Use door automatic. Very good. Automatic door openers. Use the back of your hand, not the front of your hand. Be careful touching your face, especially if you haven't had any sanitizer. So that's it.
I want to add that Publix right now, I saw it, even though I don't take the flu shot, they are giving away gift cards if you go to Publix and get a flu shot. So
Yes.
there's a little reward for you all if you want it. I was going to ask, one of my questions was going to be how much staff did you guys deploy out to North Carolina and South Carolina?
Okay, we have 3 members right now on Florida Task Force 2. There's 2 task forces in Florida. Task Force 1, which is Miami-Dade County, and Task Force 2, which is a combination of the City of Miami and Broward Sheriff's Office. Task Force 2 deployed last night, or yesterday evening at 4 o'clock. Last text I had from the task force leader, he was just in South Carolina. They're going to stage up there. They're trying to find inner ground and probably a stadium or something like that to take all the assets and park them there. Most of them are going to be looking, the task force is going to be looking at swift water rescue. So we're looking at a lot of boats getting out there, and hopefully the Cajun Navy will make their way over there too to give us a little hand. But we have 3 members that are deployed as task force leaders in their respective groups.
Yeah, well, I just want to thank you all for your service. I can remember a year ago at Harvey, and I'm not Harvey, Irma, and we were so lucky. More Public Works was more on the ground and needed than fire, but places like Houston and Texas and those South Carolinas that flood heavily, I just can't imagine of what type of storm this is going to be, and then my heart is breaking for the East Coast. So thank you all for being selfless and leaving your family, your priorities to go and serve others. Commissioner Brandon Marty?
Yeah, Mr. Holiness, even with these people being sent there, I understand from looking at the hurricane channel that Isaac could be a threat even to us, this other hurricane. So we're safe as far as we can afford these people
Personnel.
going, is what I mean.
That's why
Don't leave me with a boat with no oars.
no pun intended, no pun taken.
Okay.
So with that, we sent a minimum cadre. We also got a request for ambulances to what we call a strike team of ambulances. We had to respectfully decline because of the activity in the Atlantic Basin.
Right.
So not knowing Isaac's projection over the next 7 days, most of the models are taking it on the southern. When we had a conference call today with NOAA, a lot of it's going to be wind shear, so it's going to actually keep it south of us. But we only can go 7 days out. It's not that fast. It picks up speed. It slows down. So, it'll be in the south of Puerto Rico, over by Dominica, in that area, in 7 days. So then is about the time we need to take a look at it and see what's happening with the weather, the topographic weather, what it's doing to it, and what effects it's having on it.
The southbound ones are the ones we have to be careful about.
They have
That's
some
what
models showing that curve.
Haiti, it hits us.
Yeah.
There's not a general consensus in the modeling. There's one model that shows it continuing in a westerly track. There's part of some models that show it taking a northerly turn sometime in a very long span. Okay. So it depends on when it gets there and what the weather conditions are, whether it's favorable for a turn or not.
Thank you. Consent agenda, do we have any pulls? 710 we have to read. 710 we have to
Motion to approve with
read.
the exception of 710.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Item 10, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Dania Beach, Florida, amending Chapter 6 entitled Beaches, Parks, Waterways, and Recreation of the City Code of Ordinances to amend Section 6-12 entitled Fishing, Skin Diving, Scuba Diving, Spearfishing, Launching of Boats, and Operating Vehicles of Article 1 in general to confirm the prohibition of fishing and surf casting fishing on and from the beach during the hours of 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., providing for severability, providing for conflicts, further providing for an effective date. First reading.
Any discussion or motion in a second, please?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Bids and requests for proposals?
8.1 is a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Dania Beach, Florida, relating to the awarded contract for beach cleaning services, authorizing the award of bid to Beach Raker LLC in the total annual cost of $106,142, authorizing the proper city officials to execute an agreement, providing for conflicts, further providing for an effective date.
I guess I have a question for the Parks and Rec Director. Is this the same contractor?
Yes.
Yes. Have you gone through it, and are you satisfied with what you can get? Okay. All right. Well, no other comments or discussion?
Public hearing.
This isn't a hearing. I just need a motion and a second.
Move the item.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
You opposed? Now we're in public hearings.
Okay, 9.1, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Dania Beach, Florida, amending Section 27-4 of the City Code of Ordinances, dealing with procedures on changes of ownership or occupancy of premises, amending Section 27-6 of the Code, dealing with authority and grounds for discontinuance of service, amending and renaming Section 27-9, such section called Cross-Contaction Control and Backflow Prevention of the City Code of Ordinances, amending Section 27-20 of the Code, dealing with turning on and shutting off service connections, providing for severability, providing for conflicts, further providing for an effective date. This has been continued as a second reading from the July 24th and August 28th commission meetings. I'm going to ask that we continue it once again because the person who we're relying on as a consultant for technical issues has been out ill, and we still need to iron out a couple of things. So I'm going to recommend we postpone it to October 9th to give us plenty of time for this person to recover and bring it back.
This is a public hearing. Anyone to speak for or against this?
Make a
Motion to continue October the 9th.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed?
Next is an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Dania Beach, Florida, amending Chapter 17 entitled Offenses Miscellaneous of the City Code of Ordinances to create Article 13, Prohibition of Distribution of Plastic Straws, providing for severability, providing for conflicts, further providing for an effective date. Second reading of this ordinance.
This is a public hearing. Anyone to speak for or against this?
Move it.
Second.
Vice Mayor?
Wake up.
With a lot of conversations about the straw issue, I just want to read something about the city of San Francisco. They included napkins, straws, and bags available upon request. And the trend seems to be people can still have straws, but if you want a straw, you have to request it. Now, I just wanted to put that out there before the commission to see, because I think Chicky mentioned the last time. If you have a swallowing issue, or sometimes you need to use a straw, or if you just came from the dentist and you have Novocaine, you need to use a straw. Otherwise, you'll be just like drooling all over your.
Well, they have the paper
use
straws. They have the paper
They
straws.
have
So-
to be paper, though.
Is that what we're going to do? Is make a paper straw
Yeah, they have
by
paper
request
straws.
only?
But
They don't have to.
again, there is an exception for disability, whether it's temporary or permanent.
Okay.
And secondly, they don't necessarily have to be paper. They're made out of very, very durable products, like the young lady showed us a couple weeks ago. You would not know it's different from plastic. It's stronger than plastic, but they're not plastic.
A lot of times they only do it upon request because the paper straws and the different materials are more expensive, if it's the paper straws. But they do have paper straws and they have the metal ones. I don't think I would want to drink out of a metal straw or anything that was reusable. But they do have the paper ones upon request. But I think that's up to the restaurant's discretion if they want to just dish out of their paper straws or do it upon request. I know the place, Outdoor World right here.
Yes.
They do it upon request because I asked for a straw, and only then did they bring me this thick paper straw, the one that you brought to the commission meeting before.
We gave restaurants the right to get rid of the ones that they have.
Correct.
Isn't that what we said?
Correct.
We were giving them like a few months
Correct.
so that they could get rid of all their plastic straws.
That's correct. All right. Were you reading something, Vice Mayor? Oh, that's it? Okay, we have a motion. We have a motion in a second. You have that, Tom? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
9.3, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Dania Beach, Florida, authorizing the expenditure of city funds exceeding $1 million for Broward County Permitting, Licensing, and Consumer Protection Division of the Environmental Protection and Growth Management Department, providing for severability, providing for conflicts, further providing for an effective date. First reading of this ordinance.
This is a public hearing. Anyone to speak for or against this?
Move the item.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Okay, for the next two items, which are 4030 South State Road 7 LLC, and for the property, the site plan for Prime Realty, anybody other than attorneys who's going to speak and address the commission, including city staff, has to be sworn. These are quasi-judicial hearings. So anybody who wants to speak or may speak, you just please stand up, swear or affirm testimony to give, be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Thanks very much. Please be seated. Commission, if you've been contacted in either of these applications, would you please so disclose it? The first one is 9.4, which is a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Dania Beach, Florida, approving the plat note amendment, delegation request DR 6718 application submitted by Andrew Shine, Esquire with Lockyer and Chakas, PA, on behalf of the property owner 4030 South State Road 7 LLC for the property located at 4030 South State Road 7 in the City of Dania Beach, Florida, as legally described in Exhibit A, a copy which is attached to this resolution, providing for conflicts, further providing for an effective date.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Corinne
Good evening.
LaJoy, Planning and Zoning Manager. This application is for a plat note delegation, so we're amending a note that currently exists on a plat, and the property is located on State Road 7. It has an industrial zoning and land use designation. It's located on the east side of State Road 7 and south of Interstate 595. The property is approximately 24 acres in size, and it's the former City of Fort Lauderdale sludge plant that they recently sold. So now the property is under contract, so the new property owner is needing to amend the plat note so in preparation of development of the site. So this is the location of the property. I tried to zoom out as far as I could, well, further, let's see, because this is State Road 7 to the west of the property, and this is the Dania Cutoff Canal, and FP&L site that we had just recently did activity for is down there. So try to give you some perspective. It is between 595 and Griffin Road. It's kind of a site we don't think of very often because it's kind of on the outskirts of the city. So they are requesting to amend the note on the plat in order to allow more appropriate uses. Right now, the plat note is very restrictive. It currently limits the property only to a sludge plant. So they're asking to amend that note to allow industrial uses. And within that definition is really the county's definition of what industrial is. It allows a little bit of flexibility for office and a little bit of flexibility for commercial as well. So with that, staff's recommending approval of the resolution. I know the applicant's here and has a presentation if you'd like to see that as well.
No.
No.
No, but Corinne, sorry. Do you have a list of those uses or no?
Of what the note is going to be? Yeah, so this is the new note that's going to be on the plat. It's going to be limited to 350 square feet of industrial uses. The industrial use may be up to 30 to 50% ancillary office or 30% ancillary commercial office use per bay or single tenant upon satisfaction of the transportation concurrency fees. No freestanding office or commercial uses permitted without the approval of the Board of County Commissioners, who shall have review and address these issues for impacts. And basically, they're looking at traffic impacts that are associated with those uses.
Thank you.
Okay. Vice Mayor?
That's in the IROM AA, is that correct?
No,
It's on the edge of the AA.
it's IG, Industrial General. It touches 441, so it's not in our normal industrial area along Ravenswood Road. It's further west.
Okay, thanks.
This is a public hearing. Anyone to speak for or against this?
Make a motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Okay, 9.5, resolution of the City Commission of the City of Dania Beach, Florida, approving the site plan SP 047-18 and variance VA 04618 submitted by Prime Realty Capital LLC for a property located at 3251 Southwest 26th Terrace in the City of Dania Beach, Florida, as legally described in Exhibit A, a copy which is attached to this resolution, providing for conflicts, further providing for an effective date.
Good evening.
Good evening.
This application is for a site plan and a variance for a property on Southwest 26th Terrace. I think you'll be familiar with it as I show you the photos of the site. This one does have an industrial research office, marine airport approach zoning designation. There are no violations on the property. The property itself is located on the west side of Southwest 26th Terrace and south of Interstate 595. It's the previous location of the Sun Recycling, but it's currently vacant. They've since moved out and the site is completely vacant at this time. The applicant's requesting to occupy the site and to incorporate a site adjacent to it directly south, incorporating that into the development site as well. So this is the previous location of the Sun Recycling facility. So Interstate 595 is to the top of the screen. They are also including this parcel here that was previously owned by Broward County as part of their site, and they're going to utilize that for outdoor storage. This is for a rental of construction equipment. So that additional area is going to be used for display of their construction equipment. The variance that they're requesting is relating to the display of that equipment, actually, and they're requesting to have it on a gravel surface where the code requires all outdoor display to occur on concrete or asphalt, and they're wanting to do that on gravel. So that's what the variance request is for. And there are criteria, as you know, identified in the land development regulations. The applicants identified how their requests are consistent with those criteria. There's also the site plan that needs to be approved. The majority of the site will be occupied by the actual construction equipment itself. As you know, construction equipment's large, so that's going to take up a lot of the space on the property. That's going to be waiting to be picked up or to be rented. The applicant's proposing removal of the existing freestanding office building and associated parking because there is a smaller building on the site. They're going to demolish that building and instead incorporate an office area in the larger building that will remain on the property. As part of the site plan, the applicant's requesting an alternative parking standard to be approved concurrent with the site plan, which the code does allow. The applicant has indicated that the company typically provides one parking space per employee, plus a few additional for any clients that come to the site. They have over 200 sites nationwide, so this is something that seems to work for them, that is familiar to them. And some of the reasons why they identified that this parking ratio would work for them is because the office and showroom area is a pretty small percentage of their overall area on their site. The rental of construction equipment is not a typical retail or rental facility, as they don't advertise to the general public. They said most of their advertisement is done by word of mouth. And in addition to that, pickup is usually done by appointment only. So there's not a lot of rush of customers to the site at any particular time. The applicant's proposing to provide 42 parking spaces on site. The code requires 121, and I think that's primarily due to the large size of the structure, the building that they currently have on the site. The traffic impact study was prepared by Joaquin Vargas, PE of Traftech Engineering, for this project and was reviewed and accepted by the city engineer. This project, the site plan, did go through the development review community on 2 occasions, in April and in June. There are several outstanding comments. The applicant is aware of that and is working towards addressing those. Those outstanding comments are identified in the staff report and the resolution. So if you approve the resolution, those conditions will automatically be conditions of the approval. With that, we're recommending approval, and I know the applicant or a representative of the applicant is here if you have any questions for them as well.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Anyone to speak for or against this?
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
9.6, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Dania Beach, Florida, accepting a right-of-way deed conveying title for right-of-way purposes OT 6818 from Dania Live 1748 LLC for the property generally located at the northwest corner of Southwest 18th Avenue and Sterling Road as additional right-of-way property needed for future right-of-way improvements, providing for an effective date.
Good evening. This application is for a dedication of right-of-way, and it's for the right-of-way of Southwest 18th Avenue. So this is part of the Dania Point project. The developer for Dania Point is presenting Southwest 18th Avenue to the city for acceptance as a new and improved right-of-way. So the city the applicant's asking that the city accept this new right-of-way as a new public road. The road is located at north side of Sterling Road and east of Interstate 95. I didn't quite capture I-95 in this area, I apologize, but this down here is Sterling Road, and this area in the red is the new improved Southwest 18th Avenue.
It's with a new Burger King, right?
Correct, right. So the Dania Point developer was able to obtain some additional right-of-way by demolishing the existing Burger King and relocating it to the west of the original footprint. That's how they kind of captured some additional land. Some improvements that were made is they were able to realign that intersection. They were able to widen the intersection at Sterling Road. They did some median landscaping in the area, street lighting, sidewalks, bike lanes, and drainage is all part of this right-of-way section. The city engineer recommends acceptance of the right-of-way dedication for Southwest 18th Avenue. And we're recommending approval of the resolution, and there's a representative of the applicant here if you have any questions.
This is a public hearing. Anyone want to speak for or against this?
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Commissioner comments. Commissioner Brandon Marty.
I've got nothing going on, but thank you. Oh, just want to say, Danny, good job on these cars in letting the seniors know that really, technically, this is our residents' faults. They leave their cars unlocked. So the more you preach, the less they listen, though. So I don't know how you can ever solve that problem, but thank you.
Commissioner Grace.
I just want to say how proud I am, and it's kind of hard for me to get this out because I don't have any more water. The Dania Dolphins, the program, I want to thank Anthony, I want to thank the mayor and all of those volunteers that have been helping you with the program. Eric, they seem to be doing a fantastic job this year. The program is moving a lot smoother, and I am so happy that BSO is on top of everything, and we got to make sure that we have coaches that does not have any baggage. I guess that's what I want to say, that does not have any baggage. And I just want to thank you for that. The last thing I want to say is that on September 22nd, there is going to be a luncheon, and part of it is going to be in my honor. All of the commissioners and the vice mayor and the mayor has gotten the invitation. We do have a table. For the ladies who want to wear hats, you can. I am looking for my full commission along with my city managers to be there to support me. It's a must? Okay. So I'm sure that if you don't have anything else on your agenda, you will kind of make space for that event.
Is it a Saturday or Sunday? It's a Saturday?
It's on a Saturday from, I believe, from 1 until 3:30? No, the men do not have to wear hats. I really wouldn't want to see that, but I'm just happy that at the end of my tenure, there are two organizations that are going to be honoring me, and that's going to be the Zeta Phi Beta sorority and the Women's Negro League. And I'm honored that they saw fit to add Little Dania Beach to their list. And I'm looking forward to seeing my fellow commissioners and my city manager with me. Thank you.
Commissioner Salvino.
I'm good, thank you, Mayor.
Y'all really trying to get out of here before 8, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Vice Mayor.
I did speak to the company Host Compliance that was a presenter at the last Florida League of Cities. And what was interesting while I was on the phone with him, he sent me the PowerPoint presentation that currently in the Dania Beach and surrounding areas that there's 416 rental listings representing 211 rental properties. So I know we've already retained the services of a like company, but there's over 75 rental sites from Airbnb to Priceline to Expedia to Vacation Candy. I mean, there's just so many sites out there. So they're able to extract the information from the sites, but we can't go out too far out into it because of the state legislature and what they're going to do when they reconvene. But I just wanted wanted to let you know I did a video conference call with the guy, and I was on the phone with him for about an hour and a half. He was in Vancouver, and so I went all the way through that with him. So I have the PowerPoint presentation for future reference. And a week ago Thursday, I was at the Broward League of Cities, and there was a question and answer segment with Superintendent Runcie. And I did ask him if we could revisit the issue with the Olson Middle School property, and he did say yes in front of a crowded room of about 100 people. So the next day,
Of course he did.
yeah, he did say.
Of course he did.
Because what I said was, we went to the single point of entry program there, and which I participated in, and then the however came that property is full of squirrels and raccoons, and is the Eye in the Sky still out there at Olson?
No.
Okay, it was out there, but just to say that we started the conversation again, and I know Bob called him, so we'll see where it goes from there. That's the 2 high points for this week. Thank
Good.
you. That's it.
Wow. I have nothing. Appointments, Fire and Police Pension Board.
Mayor, I might have somebody I'm working on for that. I might have it the next meeting for you.
Okay.
I've asked them, they're trying to check their schedule and so on, but I might have a candidate for it.
Okay. Administrative reports.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll pass out the projects report. I also wanted to remind everybody that tomorrow, 5:01, there's your first public hearing on the budget. It's one of the most important meetings that we have annually up here, so certainly the public is invited to come out and express your view on the budget for the upcoming fiscal year. And then I just wanted to reflect a bit on 9/11. It was a terrible event, and it's good that we try to honor that event every year. It'd be nice if our country could pull together like it did back on 9/11 without having some kind of tragedy to make that happen. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Nothing further.
City Clerk.
Upcoming meetings, as the city manager just said, tomorrow at 5:01, you have your first budget public hearing. Then Tuesday, September 18 at 5:01 is your second budget public hearing. And then finally on Tuesday, September 25th is your regular city commission meeting at 7 p.m. That's all.
All right, meeting adjourned. I think we broke a record, meeting adjourned.
Yes, you did, Mayor. Congratulations. You set a new record.
Sure.
You used to set records.